My mother became a school counselor in 1984 and finally retired last year after 36 years of working in the education system. Growing up and seeing how much she and my dad, who was a high school teacher, loved their jobs is a big reason why I am where I am today, graduating with an education degree from their alma mater. Now that I am about to graduate, I cannot help but be curious and interested in the idea of furthering my education and becoming a guidance counselor. In my field base this semester, I have witnessed a school counselor who does not meet the needs of the students, which is heartbreaking. Due to this, I thought my peers might also benefit from my research, since I have seen firsthand their passion for their education and for the children they work with. I began my research on the process of becoming a school counselor first with jotting down the little that I already knew about the topic, which was that a master's degree is required, some teaching experience is required, and I assumed there was at least one certification exam. Next, I wrote down some guiding questions for myself on what I wanted to gain from my research. Some of these questions were: what masters are accepted in becoming a school counselor? How much teaching experience is required? What types of certifications are required? And do the previous questions vary with grade levels you want to work with? As I started researching, I began sifting through a lot of great informative sources that gave very direct information I was in need of. By watching and reading through these videos and websites, I discovered there are different master's degrees accepted as the educational requirements in becoming a school counselor. The names often vary depending on the university. I also now know Texas requires 2 years of prior teaching experience and a minimum score of 240 on the school counselor exam. This certification is an all-level counseling certification, so there is no limitation to working with any particular grade. An article I found during my research that I really enjoyed didn't particularly answer any of my specific questions, but had a great main theme of remaining open to the possibilities, and I think that rings true in becoming a counselor. It's not something that should be rushed into or one for personal gain, but for the benefit of children, and every counselor's story in becoming one is a little different. As I said before, my mom's career has led me down the same path, and with 36 years of experience, it seemed only fitting to interview her. She explained her journey in becoming a school counselor after getting her Bachelor of Arts in Secondary Teaching certification in English with a minor in Guidance Studies from Southwest Texas State University. At that time, 3 years of teaching experience was required, so she taught high school English for 5 years. During 2 of those years, she took night and summer classes to earn her master's in counseling. What I value most from her interview was the advice she gave to anyone interested in becoming a school counselor. The main thing I would advise is that if they really want to become a counselor, they need to make sure they are doing it for the kids and not for themselves. Just as in all education fields, school counseling is not a career for someone who wants the prestige or financial success. Anyone who wants to become a counselor must have a heart for their students. Second, I would tell them that they need to be aware that they will be asked to do many things that have nothing to do with counseling. There are many administrative tasks that will be required of them. Unfortunately, I have seen counselors who would hide behind these tasks and didn't take the time to truly counsel or guide students. If someone wants to be a counselor, he or she will need to devote the time to actually be one. Last, I would tell them that being a counselor is a wonderful, rewarding career, but they truly need to spend a few years as a teacher to do a good job as a counselor. Spending time in the classroom gives a better perspective that will help the counselor as they are working with students, parents, and teachers. Don't rush to be a counselor. Understand the life of a teacher so you can do a better job as a counselor. After learning about what my mother did at Texas State, I looked into what I would need to do in furthering my education here with the Master's in Counseling. The school counseling master's program here is 55 hours with no thesis. The application is through Apply Texas with a fee of $40. There is a minimum 3.0 GPA required on the last 60 undergraduate semester hours of letter grade work earned at a 4-year college or university. I discovered the Texas State University Professional Counseling Program also requires an official graduate record exam score to be submitted prior to admission consideration with a preferred score of 150 on the verbal section and 141 on the quantitative section. A resume, statement of purpose, informed consent, 3 reference forms, and degree plan emphasis selection are also additional requirements here for the Texas State program. Through this experience of completing my research, I was able to find answers to all my questions on the process of becoming a counselor. This way of professional writing was able to really push me in what I learned about my topic and myself. Having never completed an iSearch before, it really showed me the importance of researching through different forums to extend and build upon my writing. I also now see how beneficial this process is and how much students would enjoy having a unit of time in which they would complete their own. I think they would really work hard on them, and it would definitely push them as writers. I also plan to continue thinking about becoming a school counselor. Now that I know what I would need to do to become one, who knows? Maybe after 2 years of teaching, I might feel that counseling is where I am needed, and might follow the process I now know so much about.